The Steam Deck started this whole trend of PC handhelds, and now consumers have a bunch of options. The latest one is Lenovo's Legion Go. This is perhaps the most interesting one from a hardware standpoint. With its Z1 Extreme APU, it's priced identical to the ROG Ally and $150 more than the Steam Deck OLED. It also comes packaged like a premium product, almost like buying a laptop. Inside the cardboard box is another smaller box. Inside that box is a USB-C charger and a carrying case, inside of which there is of course the Legion Go. There's also this small accessory for the built-in mouse, which I'll talk about later. The carrying case looks like the Steam Deck one, but it is slightly larger. What's most striking about the Legion Go is its massive 8.8-inch screen. With those tiny bezels, 1440p native resolution, and 144 Hz refresh rate, the specs on paper are certainly really impressive. The build quality of the hardware also seems solid. I mean, this thing looks and feels like a premium device. It's certainly the most expensive looking out of the bunch. Also impressive are the detachable controller concept, just like the Nintendo Switch. So we got these Joy-Cons, if I can call them Joy-Cons. They are of course a bit beefy and feel great in your hands. There's also a kickstand on the back, so you can play this in tabletop mode just like the Nintendo Switch. The positioning of the joysticks, all the button layout, it's just perfect. I personally hate the joystick layout on the Steam Deck, especially the right joystick position. The Legion Go does feel a lot better. The problem for some might be its weight. This thing is heavy. It's a lot heavier than the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. It's also bigger and thicker. Just have a look at how it compares to other handhelds. If you're used to playing on your Nintendo Switch, then this thing's gonna feel a lot heavier and really start to get difficult to play on for long stretches. There are two USB-C ports, so one on the top and another one on the bottom here. There's also plenty of customization buttons on the back and the sides. This is a Windows handheld just like the ROG Ally. There is this trackpad on the side which makes it extremely useful for Windows. Another neat feature is the ability to turn this right controller into a mouse. You toggle on the FPS mode right here, snap the controller onto this base, and we get a fully functional mouse. So from a hardware standpoint, it's without a doubt the best and the most impressive out of the bunch. I mean, the specs, they just look great on paper. The screen is really impressive, except maybe the Steam Deck OLED screen does blow any IPS panel out of the water. Where the Legion Go gets frustrating is the software side and how the entire package just comes together. You do have to be fairly proficient at DIY PC things. For starters, the AMD graphics software does need to be updated immediately, otherwise some games for like Fortnite Season 5 just won't work. Now that's easy enough to do with the Windows update, or you can manually install the drivers. Beyond that, you do need to be able to update the BIOS, mess around with other settings to get the most performance out of the Legion Go. If you actually roam around in the Legion Go Reddit, the biggest topics are revolving around how to update the BIOS, how to tweak the settings, and so on. So it's not a plug and play device as much as the ROG Ally, and certainly nowhere close to a console-like experience that's offered by the Steam Deck. There is the Legion Space software that gives you a bit of that streamlined console experience, all the main gaming platforms, all your games organized in one place. But Legion Space is full of bugs and nowhere near the refined experience you have with Steam's operating system. There's also an overlay setting you can bring up where you can change the performance settings, the thermal settings, and even bring up performance overlays. And of course there's bugs with that. The FPS counter on the built-in overlay did stop working for me after I updated the latest AMD drivers, so you'll likely have to install third-party software to monitor the FPS. Now let's talk about what really matters, and that's gaming on the Legion Go and its performance. Now all the performance testing I did and the gameplay I have here is without tweaking or messing messing around with the BIOS. In my opinion, if I have to install official custom software and settings to make this thing perform better, that's not really a fair review. On paper, it's the same Z1 Extreme setup as the ROG Ally, so it should perform the same. The screen does have some impressive specs, resolution of up to 2560 by 1600 and a refresh rate of up to 144 Hz. But can you really game at those settings? Well, I initially tried that setup with Fortnite and the performance isn't even close, not even 30 FPS with those Unreal Engine 5 visuals. So I did what every Legion Go owner has to eventually do, and that's turning down the resolution to 1280 by 800, which actually matches the Steam Deck. I also turned down the Fortnite graphics settings to the lowest possible. I just wanted to see if this thing can deliver 140 FPS Fortnite at the absolute lowest settings. And nope, it can't. The average frame rate might be around, above 100, but there's just too many drops and freezing. The game just isn't playable, even though visually it looks worse than the Nintendo Switch version. I then locked the frame rate to 120 FPS. Here the performance was a lot better, but there was still the occasional freezing. Perhaps a 90 FPS or even a 60 FPS lock is more appropriate for this device. Now I did try out other games. Here's Spider-Man Miles Morales running at the exact same settings I tested on my Steam Deck OLED a few weeks ago. The Steam Deck OLED delivered in the mid 30s in terms of frame rate, and that thing was stable without any significant drops or freezing. With the Legion Go, yes, the average frame rate is higher, likely in the mid 40s and occasionally even going into the 50s. However, the performance is unstable. It'll be 50 FPS 1 second and then drop into the 30s or even 20s the next. The game also looks kind of blurry at 800p on that larger screen. Steam Deck OLED, even with its lower specs, made Spider-Man Miles Morales look a lot better. It's a similar story with other games like Hogwarts Legacy. The average frame rate might be slightly higher than the Steam Deck, but the games just aren't as optimized, so the stability is lower. Now, one game that I felt was stable and ran a lot better is The Last of Us Part 1. Here's the Legion Go delivering frame rates close to 60 FPS and doing so without any significant stability issues. I did also want to try out the new Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Steam Deck, of course, can't run that game. It's just not powerful enough. I did run Avatar on another Windows handheld I have, and that's the One X Fly. This thing's a lot smaller than the Legion Go and slightly more powerful actually. I ran Avatar on the lowest settings, 1080p resolution with FSR 3 turned on. I was getting frame rates in the mid 20s and the game looked decent and was still playable. With the Legion Go, I tried the same settings, now of course at the lower 800p resolution, and the Legion Go looked horrible visually. The FSR 3 was working hard and even still it's like 10 frames per second. Now if you're looking for a bit of a data comparison, here's a table showing the average performance of the Legion Go versus the ROG Ally when you plug in both units. The Legion Go does come out on top if you're just looking at the averages. Now keep in mind the units are plugged in to get that maximum wattage, the maximum power. The larger Legion Go can handle heat dissipation better. So even with the same Z1 Extreme chip, it does come out on top. However, as I showed in the gameplay, the stability and optimization out of the box is really poor with the Legion Go. So to really get the most out of the Legion Go, you do need to tweak the settings, update to some custom BIOS, and really know how to mess around with the PC. The hardware side and all the unique features of the Legion Go, the detachable Joy-Cons, the large 8.8-inch screen are impressive. But this whole package, it just makes the whole thing really bulky, thick, and heavy. So it's not as portable as the other handhelds. The Legion Go also has the loudest fan out of the bunch. It sounds something like this. So when you're running, really high demanding games and that speed of the fan is maxed out, you're gonna hear it. I mean, that's really all you hear is the fan. The battery life with the Legion Go also is fairly poor. Spider-Man here should last just over an hour. At the similar settings, the original Steam Deck lasts 1 hour and 20 minutes, while the new Steam Deck OLED lasts 2.5 hours. So that larger screen, I mean, it looks good, but it's gonna drain a lot of battery. And that was really my honest review of the Legion Go. Let me know what you think and which one is your favorite handheld PC so far.